Today I'm going to be taking a look at this portable diesel heater from BougeRV. If you're not familiar with these diesel heaters, they are a reliable and fuel efficient way to heat just about anything, including tents and RVs, vehicles, boats, garages, and of course they can be used for emergencies. This particular diesel heater from BougeRV markets itself as being portable, more so than other diesel heaters. This is the first diesel heater I reviewed though, so what I'm going to do a little different this time is I'm going to open up this heater, learn more about it off camera, and then come back, show you what's in the box and how to use it. Alright, so it's the next day. I've used the heater a couple of times, and I have to say it was extremely easy. I was up and running in 5 minutes, and I have never done one of these before. So just real quickly, I'll go through some details on the heater in just a second, but here's the heater. Let's start over here and go this way. So this is a flexible hose that goes to this end here, and it connects with one of these hose clamps. That's very easy to connect on, and this is flexible and it extends out. I think it's aluminum, so if it dents, it'll stay that way. But that's the exhaust hose, and on the end here can go, if you want to use this, I don't know that I'll use it, but you can use this little vent exhaust here if you want to use that. Let's see, does that turn? Yeah, that actually turns. Yeah, so that comes off, the end comes off. Next we have now this is the exhaust, so this gets super hot, really hot, and there's a muffler on the end. So this comes with threaded in on this side that goes in here. This is just like a little plug that you screw in, I guess, when you're not using it, but this threaded in just threads in there very easily. This is flexible, it does move around. It was kind of bent into kind of a staple type shape when it arrived. Now I did have a little trouble hooking on this exhaust hose to the muffler. This is a muffler. It does have a little tiny drain hole there, so I'm assuming you want to install it like this to where if water gets in there it can drain. But this was bent just slightly, and it actually slides over either end. This seems to be exactly the same on either side, so it does slide over it, but it took a little muscle to get it to push over it, and then the hose clamp tightened it down. So that was easy once I got that done. Now let's a couple of the powering options here. So the diesel heater has an XT60 plug that does provide the power, you know, to start it and run the fan and things like that. And I was very glad to see that it came with an AC adapter, which is very nice, because then I can just use that wherever you are. If you have that, if you have a portable power station, just plug it into your house somewhere. So I was very glad to see that. Here is a cigarette lighter plug. Now I'm going to look into that and update you in a little bit, but these are typically just rated for 10 amps, and I believe this will actually run more than 10 amps when it's starting up, so I'll check into that. And then of course we have here some lugs or ring terminals to connect it directly to a battery, which I will be testing that as well, and then you can plug that up. Before I get to the remote, okay, so it comes with a couple of clamps here where you can, well, this is just an extra hose clamp, but this is a clamp where you can actually like secure the exhaust hose here to some object if you don't want it to move. The remote control here, it's just got on and off, and then up and down for plus and minus for the heat level that you want to provide. I don't know if I'm using that much because the mobile app is really nice. So I really like the mobile app. And speaking of the mobile app, here's a little brochure on how to use the mobile app, how to download it, how to connect the exhaust hose clamp, and the owner's manual. There's one diagram in here that shows kind of how everything connects together, and that's really the main thing you need. And once you see that, that's really everything you need to get up and going. Alright, that's everything, so let's take a little closer look at the heater. Alright, so here's like the input side of the heater. Zoom in a little bit. So we have this little control panel here that has dials on each side, and they both push. I think this is for the temperature control and turn it on and off, and this is for like the timer and how much time you're going to set. So I'll be showing you that. This is the input, the air intake here, and this does come off if you need to clean it or something. But this is where the air goes in and comes out heated on the other side. And you can't really see here, but there's little louvers, and there's an air intake here for part of the combustion system. And XT60 electrical input we mentioned. If we just kind of spin it around and look here on this side, this is the exhaust port I mentioned that gets super hot right here at the bottom. On top we have handles that fold down or back up. They're very sturdy. This is where you put in the fuel. It holds up to 5 liters. This is a fuel gauge, but it's really hard to see. Sometimes I can see it, and most of the time I've been unable to see it, so I have to just look down into the top here. This is where the heated air comes out. You hook your flexible hose to that, and you can point that in any direction you need to. And the stainless steel case, very attractive. I really like that. And this is not waterproof, so this does need to be protected from the elements, and you're not supposed to use this indoors at all, according to the manual. Even if you exhaust this outside, this is supposed to be outside. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's take it out right now, and I'll show you how this thing works. All right, so I've come outside here under my grill cover. Everything is wet. Heck, I just dried this off. It's been raining all night. The thing I forgot to mention is it does have 4 pretty heavy-duty rubber feet that keeps it up about an inch and a half roughly off of whatever you got it sitting on. So I'm now going to get this hooked up here and show you how it works. So I'm under my grill cover here, which I've dried off a little bit. So I'm going to just do this initial test here. So what I've got hooked up now is just I got the AC adapter plugged in. I've got the exhaust pipe and muffler on that just screwed in. That was really easy. And just as a temporary test, I've got the exhaust just pointing up here, coming out the back. There's fuel in here, and now I'm going to turn it on and show you how it works. It's really easy to set up. All right, so let's turn it on to get started here. So to get started, to turn it on, all you really need to do is push this button here, and that just turns it on. Now it should start its warm-up procedure, which takes 2 to 5 minutes. I had it on just a few minutes ago, so it might warm up quicker this time. I'm going to show you the mobile app as well. So here's the mobile app, and if I've already added it in here, you don't have to log in or anything. You don't have to create an account. And with the mobile app, you see I have it set at 3 kilowatt. It can go all the way up to 5. And when that power button is blinking over on the right, it means it's in its warm-up startup process. And you can see then the combustion efficiency is 0. The voltage started at 13.1, but now that it's running, it's drawing enough to bring the voltage down to 12.2. You can do timing, and there's instructions on how to use everything. The timing, you can have it turn on and off when you want to. If you see right in the middle of the screen there, right under the diesel heater, it says booting up, about 1 to 5 minutes. And since I just had it started, it will probably start up a little quicker this time. And here, if you see the screen, it goes dim every now and then. If you just press it once, it'll come back on so you can see it. So it is in its startup process, and here in about a minute, it's going to start clicking. The diesel pump will be starting the pump, and it'll start its process where it just slowly ramps up until it's fully going. So for now, I'm going to actually turn this all the way up to 5,000 so we can jump all the way to full blast, and then I'll turn it down, show you the difference there. Okay, now I don't know if you can hear it, but the pumping has started. You can hear that little click. It's very mild, not loud at all. And you can finally start seeing a little exhaust coming out of the exhaust. Let's see what the decibels are right now. It's at 56. It just is slowly ramping up. It's been almost 3 minutes now, and if you see the combustion efficiency, it says it's 99%. Now that goes down and up, but once it gets fully going, I think it pretty settles in at 99. Let's see what the decibels are now. We're at 64, and it is just about probably completing its warm-up startup process. Okay, it is fully started up now. As you can see, the mobile app here, the little that shows the heat coming out of the heater. It's kind of cool. The power icon is gone solid. And let's see what we are on the decibel meter now. It's right at 70, which I think is what they advertised. So we are fully underway here. So let's turn it down using the mobile app. Let's turn it down to 4. And it'll slowly get a little quieter. You can see on the display here, it did switch to 4 as well, as it did in the mobile out. Okay, let's use the remote to kind of turn it down just a little bit more. Push this back on. I'll turn it to 35 using the remote control. And it beeps to let you know when you're pushing the remote. So we're fully underway now. The heater is fully functional. Let's turn it all the way down to low using the mobile out. Let's see if it gets any quieter. It is getting quieter and slowing down. The voltage has gone up. I wish I had put a watt meter on there. But the decibels are now 69, 68, even though it seems quieter than that. It's still getting quieter. Let's give it just a minute to settle all the way down to low. About 63, 64 decibels now, and it seems to have settled into low. Alright, so that's how this diesel heater works. Now I'm going to set up and actually heat my garage, show you what I'm going to set up for that. But first, I want to show you how this thing shuts down. There's also a 5-minute shutdown process. So let's use the remote control, the mobile app here to just hit the off button. And you can see here it says it's now off, or turning off. And there's about a 5-minute shutdown process to where it cools down, slows down, and then once it's fully shut down and turns off, actually most parts, even the exhaust pipe there I was able to handle it by hand without the gloves or anything. So it does cool all the way down. So that's nice. Okay, I just wanted to show you how many watts it's using. So I just started it back up after it's cooled down. And we are using 120 watts during startup here. I'm assuming it's heating some elements and things, and the fan's not running just yet, but right now it's heating up. So we're using about 120 watts at the moment. I'll check in and show you with updates as it changes, as it fully starts up. So it's been running a couple of minutes. It's slowly ramping up now. I have it on low, but it just slowly goes down from 120. Now it's down to 102. I'll check back in when I get it fully on low, and then I'll turn it up to high and check on it then. Okay, we are fully started now. The start process is complete. We're on low, and we're running about 43 watts. 44 watts, no 45, it bounces around a little bit, but that's what we're running on low. Let's crank it up now to full and let's see if it changes. Okay, we've been running on high now for 2 to 3 minutes, and it just barely changed. It went from like 53, 54, 55 up to 57, so cranking it up to high really doesn't change the amount of watts it uses. Now, if we were running DC instead of AC, it'd probably be a little less than this because of the AC-DC conversion. So DC would probably save you a little bit of wattage. So I'm back in the garage now. And during the summer, I have a portable air conditioner, which you may have seen on some videos, and I have it exhausting right there. I cut a hole in the side of the garage, and it goes out and exhausts the hot air from the portable air conditioner outside, cools down the garage. Now, I'm going to actually use this to input the hot air from outside to in the garage, see how I can heat my garage. So let's go out and take a look and see what's out there. So here we are outside, and this is where the air conditioning exhaust goes. And how these little louvers, whenever they blow, they actually come open. This actually, I'm gonna see if I can do this one-handed, but this cover comes off. Got it off yesterday. And here's the little louvers I was talking about. They move, and actually these things are flexible, and I can actually, I hope I won't break it, but they actually can come out. It's hard to do it one-handed here. Let's see. Let me put the camera down and do this. Okay, so these little louvers actually came off without breaking, and now I can use this to put the hot air into the garage and put it out here on some kind of little structure. I don't know if I'll set it on here, but you have to keep it out of the weather. So I may build something. I saw another video on YouTube. I may follow his lead and build a little enclosure for the heater. Tonight it's supposed to get down to 24 degrees. That'll be a good test for this diesel heater. The garage usually will get around 51, 52 degrees in that condition. So we'll see how this does. But I have put this diesel heater in this tote. Now there's a YouTube channel I really like called Love Your RV and Boat. And I completely copied his idea here, and I've done exactly what he did because I thought it was a great idea. I can run it in here. I can store it in this tote as long as everything works as promised. So I have AC input running inside. I have the exhaust running this dryer vent here. It's not touching anything. Hopefully that little dryer vent will act as a shield against the plastic. I've got the hot air, it's hard to see, coming off and going into the house, as I explained earlier. Let's look under the lid here. I've got it somewhat leveled. I have to fold down the handles for this to work, but it shuts just right other than that. So I've got the AC coming in here. There's the AC block there. And I won't be able to see the screen very good, but it's okay. I can see it okay. I've got the mobile app. Should be able to fill it up okay. I should probably drill a hole in the bottom in case water gets in there. I'll do that. But my only concern is hopefully no heat will build up and melt some of this plastic. But once I get that on there, it'll shut good. I just gotta secure it. Is that if water gets on top here and freezes, it could crack it. So I'll work out something for that. But other than that, tonight I'm gonna give it a shot and run it during the night on absolute low, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. So it's still the night before. It's been just about 3 hours later when I was videoing earlier. I just wanted to document the temperature. So when I first started this about 4 p.m., the temperature went from about 57 to 59 pretty quickly. The temperature outside was about 45 at the time. Right now it's about 35, and as I mentioned, it's going to get down to 24 during this night. So I will check back in the morning to see how we did on absolute low. So it's just after 6 a.m. the next morning. As you can see here, the garage is held at 58 degrees. It was 59 when I went to bed last night, so that's good. This diesel heater is all the way on low. This is a two-car garage, only partially insulated, and just based on years of living here, I know that when it's 26 degrees outside like it is now, it would be down to about 51 degrees. So it has held us up to 58 with just being on low. So that's good, being it's a large two-car garage. So yeah, so we'll see. I'm pretty impressed with that. Let's see how it can. In a couple nights, it's supposed to be this cold again. So maybe I'll turn it on high and see how it does then. Okay, so it's 2 nights later. I have taken out the AC block and I've replaced it with a 12-volt battery, and I'll be able to. It has Bluetooth, so I'll be able to monitor that. So tonight it looks like it's around 30 degrees right now, and it's going to get down to around 25, 26. So I'm going to start this up in a little bit and see how it does on high tonight. All right, so I'm in the garage. On the other side of the wall is a diesel heater and the battery, and it's communicating through Bluetooth through the wall. In the garage, it's 53 degrees. Outside, it's 26 or 27 degrees. As you can see here, the battery is pulling just under 87 watts, just under 100. It's bounced around, jumped over 100 a little bit from time to time. The BougeRV heater is still starting up. I've got it set to high, and it'll be finished starting up in just a second, and we'll check back in the morning and see how we did on high, and it's just after 9 p.m. at night. So it's 5:30 a.m. the next morning. It's 26 degrees outside. As you can see, it's 66 degrees in the garage. We started at 53 at about 8 p.m. At bedtime, it was 61, about 10 p.m. It was 61, and now 66. So I don't need it this warm in the garage. Maybe 61, 62 would have been about right. So that did a very good job heating on high. I've turned the heater all the way down to low, and the battery only went down to 70%. And I just checked the fuel level, and it looks like there's about a ½ inch of fuel in there. So it's just about getting ready to run out, so I'll probably go ahead and turn that off. So anyway, it did a good job during the night. Okay, so I've been using diesel heater last couple of nights using a 12-volt battery that I showed, and it's been working really well. I've just set it up on a timer and cut it on a couple of times during the night, and it's had the temperature very moderate, comfortable when I got up in the morning in the low 60s. So that's working out very well. So now I'm going to try the 12-volt cigarette lighter input on this little Blue 80 EB3A here. So let's see how this works. All right, so I'm going to turn on the diesel heater, and it's starting up, and I'm going to crank it all the way to high. So we'll see how this does here. I'm going to fast forward to see if it fully starts. Alright, so the diesel heater has fully started now. It ramped up to just a little over 100 watts a few times, but most of the time it stayed just under 100. And now that it's fully started, we're down around 31 watts. So it did just fine starting it up. That's good to know that this little power station, and it said rated at 9 amps, this outlet, so I'm very glad it held up. Good job. I didn't really show you how to set up the timer, so let me show you that real quick. So before I do that, let me just go in the mobile app and show you that nothing is set in the timer. So open up the mobile app, click timing configuration down here, and you can see currently nothing is set. Okay, so now I'm going to show you here on the control panel. So first, to turn it on, you just hold the left button until the timer comes on. The timer is already set. The current time is already set. I used the mobile app and that must have set it for me. But there is a way in the manual to show you how to set the time. So if you want to set the timer to turn on at a certain time, let's say 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And by the way, that is the lowest granular setting you could do is 1 hour for an hour on each hour. So let's say 6 to 7. You can't do it from like 6:30 to 7:30, but 6 to 7. So you triple click the left knob. Then you scroll over to 6 a.m. You single click it and wait 5 seconds for a beep to confirm. Okay, now it's set. So now what we want to do is, let's say we want to set from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So to do that, we have to set 6 and 7, because it's 6 to 7 and then 7 to 8. Triple click, go back over, see 6 is already set, so go to 7, single click, wait for the beep to confirm. Okay, so now it's set from 6 to 7. So let's go back in the mobile app now, and let me show you how it's set in there. So click timing configuration, and as you can see here, it's set from 6 and 7 a.m., which is 6 to 8 a.m. So that's how you do the timing. I forgot to mention earlier, but I do keep a carbon monoxide detector here in the garage at all times when I was operating this heater also. So if you are going to operate a diesel heater like this, I suggest you get a carbon monoxide detector similar to this, just in case something goes wrong. I did do a max runtime test on low with a full tank of diesel. It ran for about 24.5 hours, which is a little less than the 27 hours they advertised. I did leave about 1 inch at the top when I was filling it up, because that seemed very reasonable to me to do that. Maybe if I'd filled it all the way up, I'd got a little bit more time, but 1 inch wouldn't have mattered too much. Here's an actual chart from my home assistant showing the garage temperature during that test. During the night, the temperature got down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it got up to about 42 degrees high the next day. As you can see here on the chart, at about 7 a.m., the temperature suddenly dropped in the garage for some reason. This happened because I forgot to turn off the timer on the diesel heater, and it was set to run to 6 to 7 a.m., so at 7 a.m., just like it was set to do, it turned off. When I got up, I did notice that it had stopped, and I started the test back at exactly 8 a.m. I just had to take an hour off my test results. When you deplete the diesel, the heater does beep about every 5 seconds continuously until you tend to it. And there's an E1 error on the control display and on the mobile app, as you can see here. Here in the manual, as you can see, it shows E1 can mean a few things, but one of them is that you've depleted the fuel. I did really like being able to operate this diesel heater with using the mobile app while I was in the garage of the house. The range of the Bluetooth is very good. I was able to operate through a couple of walls and roughly 20 to 25 feet away just fine. Overall, I'll have to say I really like this diesel heater. It was super easy to set up, even for someone like me that had first time using a diesel heater. I was a little hesitant letting it run unattended at first, since I've never used one, but as it turns out, I'm very comfortable with it now. It's a very reliable unit. It does have some safety features built in, such as overheat protection. So I'm much more comfortable using it now. It's also super quiet. On low, you can barely hear the thing running. I did hear that ticking that defines diesel heaters when I first started it up for just a couple of minutes, but then it kind of went away. And at times when I was checking on it, I could hear that ticking again, but it was very noticeable. I mean, barely noticeable. I also didn't really smell anything except during startup. For a couple of minutes, if I walked by the exhaust, I could smell something. And it did have a tiny bit of smoke for just a few seconds during startup. Other than that, I didn't see any smoke any other time. And I didn't really smell anything either while it was running after it got started. It seems to be a very fuel efficient diesel heater. And I do plan on keeping my garage warm during the winter using this diesel heater. I do a lot of things out here in the garage, and I don't want it to be freezing, and I want it to be somewhat comfortable when I'm out here. An electric heater does the job a little bit, but not nearly as good as this diesel heater. I can set it on a timer to turn it on and off and conserve fuel. I do have a covered front porch and a covered back porch on my house, so if the power ever goes off, I can actually use it to heat my through the window on either the front or the back porch. BougeRV does provide a 2-year warranty with this diesel heater, so if you're interested in this diesel heater, I'll leave a link to the BougeRV's website down below. I do have a discount code that you can use on their website. I believe it's $20 off. I just don't know for how long that code will remain active. If you're more comfortable with Amazon, I will also leave a link to the Amazon website down in the description below as well. Well, that wraps up this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.